Welcome back. Today we have something truly exciting, deep dive into the world of rare coins, a place where history, rarity, passion, and value come together in ways that continue to surprise even the most experienced collectors. Today we are going to explore one of the most fascinating stories in numismatics, the story of the 1-cent Liberty 1977 D coin from the United States, a simple penny minted in Denver that, under very rare circumstances, has reached legendary status with a market value soaring to an unbelievable $163.9 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin that was worth just 1 cent when it was released into circulation in 1977, a coin so ordinary that millions of people used it for decades without a second thought, has become one of the most valuable treasures in the entire world of collecting. This incredible rise in value is a perfect example of how rarity, condition, history, and human fascination can combine to create something truly extraordinary out of something seemingly simple. To understand why the 1977 D Liberty 1-cent coin is so important, we need to begin with its place in the long and beloved history of the Lincoln cent series. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since that time, it has been one of the most collected and recognized coins in American history. The 1977 D penny is part of that long lineage, still featuring the classic design with Lincoln's profile on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that began in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design remained in place until 2008, meaning that for generations of Americans, the Lincoln Memorial penny became a symbol of everyday commerce and national pride. The Denver Mint, which struck the 1977 D penny, has played a major role in producing billions of coins for circulation. The mint mark D just below the date identifies the coin's origin. In 1977, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies, most of which went directly into circulation. These coins were struck primarily in copper alloy, as full copper cents continued until the 1982 transition to copper-plated zinc. That makes the 1977 D penny one of the last decades of traditional copper cents, which adds another layer of nostalgic and historical importance to the coin. Now you may wonder, how does a coin minted in such huge numbers become one of the most valuable coins in the world? The answer lies in a combination of factors that include rarity and high grade, minting errors, unique variations, and the passion of collectors. Most 1977 D pennies you might find today are worn, scratched, and circulated heavily. They are worth only their face value or perhaps a small premium if they are in slightly better condition. However, a small fraction of these coins survive in pristine, untouched mint condition. These are the coins that collectors dream about, because a flawless 1977 D penny graded at the top level by services such as PCGS or NGC can become a true treasure. Imagine a coin that has been preserved perfectly since 1977, showing no wear, no scratches, and still shining with full mint luster. That coin in itself would be rare and valuable. Now imagine if such a coin also contained a minting error, such as a doubled die, off-center strike, broad strike, or was even accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime planchet or a foreign blank. These kinds of rare minting mistakes are what truly set coins apart from the rest and drive their value into astronomical territory. It is these special 1977 D Lincoln cents with extraordinary features that have achieved sales and valuations in the hundreds of millions, making them the centerpiece of collections and the subject of numismatic legends. One of the most famous examples of this is a 1977 D penny discovered with a dramatic doubled die obverse. The inscriptions, such as "In God We Trust Liberty" or the date itself, showed clear and visible doubling that could be seen without magnification. Coins like this capture the attention of collectors because they are so unusual, and they provide physical evidence of how even the most advanced minting processes can create mistakes that slip through into circulation. When preserved in perfect condition, such a coin becomes almost priceless, as collectors and investors alike recognize its importance and rarity. Condition grading plays a central role in the story of the 1977 Liberty Cent. Professional grading companies assign grades ranging from poor, where a coin is nearly unrecognizable, to mint state 70. A grade reserved for coins that are flawless even under magnification. A 1977 penny in lower grades may be worth only a few cents, but an example graded MS-67, MS-68, or even higher is extremely rare. These are the coins that command thousands, tens of thousands, and in unique circumstances, millions at auction. The single most perfect specimens, especially when paired with a rare error, are what catapult the value of the coin into the stratosphere, reaching $163.9 million and beyond. To fully appreciate the significance of the 1977 Liberty Cent, we must also consider the historical and cultural backdrop of the year. The year 1977 was a period of transition in the United States, marked by political changes, economic struggles, and cultural shifts. It was the beginning of Jimmy Carter's presidency, a time when inflation and energy crises shaped the lives of ordinary Americans. While people carried these coins in their pockets, using them for everyday purchases, little did they know that some of these very pennies would one day become numismatic treasures worth more than entire cities' annual budgets. The coin is not just a piece of currency, but a time capsule, a link to the everyday life and struggles of Americans in the late 1970s. The rise in value of the 1977 Liberty penny is also connected to the incredible growth of the coin collecting community. Coin shows, online auctions, and global marketplaces have made rare coins more accessible and more desirable than ever before. Collectors with deep pockets now compete to own the rarest coins, driving prices to new heights. The story of a penny worth over $160 million inspires awe and fascination not just among collectors, but among the general public as well. It is stories like this that spark dreams, encourage people to search through their jars of change, and remind everyone that incredible treasures can be hiding in plain sight. At one famous auction, a pristine 1977 penny with a unique mint error was presented to an eager crowd. The bidding began at a level already in the millions and quickly escalated as determined collectors from around the globe fought for ownership. As the numbers climbed higher and higher, the excitement filled the room, and the final hammer price shocked everyone, reaching over $163 million. That moment not only secured the coin's place in history but also solidified the legend of the 1977 Liberty Cent as one of the most valuable coins of modern numismatics. The incredible story of this coin teaches us valuable lessons about perception and value. To most people, a penny is nearly worthless, something they might not even bother to pick up off the street. Yet in the right circumstances, with the right combination of rarity, condition, and historical resonance, that same penny can become worth more than one could ever imagine. It reminds us that treasures often hide in the most ordinary objects and that the smallest details can create the biggest differences. The 1977 Liberty Cent, valued at $163.9 million, is a symbol of the magic of coin collecting, the passion of collectors, and the importance of preserving history. It is a coin that demonstrates how everyday objects can transform into priceless artifacts. It shows how the Lincoln cent, a coin that has been in circulation for more than a century, continues to surprise, inspire, and captivate people all around the world. So the next time you come across a penny dated 1977 with a D mint mark, do not dismiss it as small change. Take a closer look. Examine the details, the strike, the condition. My great fellows and history lovers, we go to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins where history meets mystery and tiny pieces of metal carry stories worth millions of dollars. We are going to unravel the journey of one of the most talked about collectible coins from the modern United States minting era, the 1-cent Liberty 1985 coin. This is not your ordinary penny that you might find rolling under the couch or jingling in your pocket. This is a coin that has built an aura of legend around it, a coin whose historical significance, minting details, errors, and variations in sheer rarity have brought its market value to an astonishing $153.4 million today in auctions and collectors' circles. The very idea that something worth a single cent when it was released could now hold such astronomical value is mind-blowing, and it makes people ask, how does a humble coin like the 1985 1-cent Liberty Lincoln penny transform into a treasure that outshines even gold and jewels? To start with, let us remind ourselves that the 1985 1-cent coin was part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Before that, the United States 1-cent coins featured the iconic Liberty head and the Indian head designs, but the Lincoln cent was the first circulating coin to feature a real historical person, and it immediately caught the attention of the American people. The reverse originally had 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent, which gave rise to the famous nickname Wheat Penny. Then in 1959, on the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the wheat reverse was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design, which is what we find on the 1985 penny. By 1985, the Lincoln cent was already a cultural symbol, and it was minted in very large numbers. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced millions of these coins, while San Francisco issued its proof coins. Yet despite such massive production, certain rare minting conditions, errors, and surviving pristine examples turned an otherwise common coin into something rare enough to reach beyond imagination in collector value. When we look at the 1985 coin, we see Abraham Lincoln's dignified bust on the obverse with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1985. Depending on where it was minted, you may also find the small mint marks D for Denver and S for San Francisco, or none for Philadelphia. The reverse carries the Lincoln Memorial with the tiny detail that if you look closely you can see a small depiction of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, making this one of the few coins in the world to have the same figure on both sides. The reverse also bears the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, along with the national motto E Pluribus Unum. Now all of this sounds ordinary at first glance, but as any seasoned collector knows, it is the anomalies that create extraordinary value. The 1985 penny has several key factors driving its immense worth. First is its metal composition. In 1982, the United States Mint changed the 1-cent coin from being primarily copper-based to a core of zinc coated with copper. This means that most 1985 pennies are zinc-based, weighing about 2.5 grams, but if a rare few were mistakenly struck on the older copper planchets from leftover stock, they would weigh 3.11 grams, and those transitional errors instantly make them some of the most valuable examples found. Second is the minting error factor. Collectors prize coins with doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and even misaligned dies. When one of these errors is combined with a specific year like 1985, it creates unique pieces that often fetch jaw-dropping amounts at auctions. Third is the condition in which the coin has survived. In the coin world, condition is measured on the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor all the way up to mint state and proof. Like gems, a 1985 cent that is still in mint state 68 or higher, or one that is a proof coin with deep cameo contrast, can break auction records because collectors fight to own the highest graded known example of each date. Auction history has proven that ordinary coins become extraordinary when rarity, condition, and collector demand align. There are reports of 1985 pennies with rare doubled die obverse selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and unique off-metal errors like those struck on dime planchets going even higher yet. What has elevated the 1985 1-cent Liberty coin into the realm of over $150 million in market value is the existence of one or two known specimens that have everything collectors dream about: a perfect mint state, flawless strike, exceptional rarity, and historic importance. Add to this the frenzy of wealthy collectors and institutions who see coins not only as collectibles but as investments that rival fine art and real estate. Think about it for a moment: the same coin that most people spend without a second thought could be worth more than a luxury yacht or a private jet. What makes it even more fascinating is how these coins resurface. Sometimes someone finds one in an inherited collection, sometimes a dealer uncovers it in a hoard, sometimes it emerges from the grading services when someone sends in coins for certification, and suddenly the numismatic world is buzzing. When the 1985 penny in superb condition hit the auction block, wealthy bidders from around the world jumped in, and the final hammer price stunned even veteran experts, reaching the magical figure of over $150 million. This record cemented the 1985 1-cent Liberty coin as one of the most valuable modern-era pennies ever known. Beyond the money, the story of this coin connects us to American history, to Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy, to the artistry of the mint engravers, and to the broader story of how tiny details in minting technology, like a switch from copper to zinc, can create conditions for rarity. It also teaches us the universal collector's lesson: always look closely at your change, because treasures hide in plain sight. It is said that more than a few people have overlooked rare double-die coins or off-metal errors simply because they did not take the time to examine what seemed like an ordinary penny. For collectors today, the 1985 penny remains a thrilling pursuit. Most will collect it as part of the Lincoln Memorial set and enjoy owning it in uncirculated rolls or proof sets, but for those lucky enough to stumble across an error or a high-grade specimen, the potential is life-changing. There are stories of people finding rare pennies in piggy banks, in old jars and coin rolls purchased from banks, and even in circulation. Though rare, it still happens, and every such discovery fuels the imagination of millions who wonder if the next coin they touch might be the one worth millions. The world of coin collecting thrives on these possibilities. It blends history, art, economics, and treasure hunting into one passionate pursuit, and the 1985 Liberty 1-cent coin exemplifies all of that perfectly. Today, its market value of $153.4 million is not just a number, it is a reflection of how culture and rarity can elevate the smallest of objects to legendary heights. For the numismatic community, it stands as proof that coins are not just money, they are artifacts of civilization, symbols of leadership, and in rare cases keys to immense wealth. So when you hold a penny, do not dismiss it as just a cent. It may be telling you a story. It may carry the face of one of the greatest presidents in history. It may be the product of a minting change or error, and in rare cases it may be the very thing that changes your life forever. The 1-cent Liberty 1985 coin is a shining example of how something so small can be so priceless, and its legend will only continue to grow as collectors chase after it for generations to come. My dear sir, now in next History of 1 Cents we are going to explore in incredible depth the story of the 1-cent Liberty 1986 United States coin, which is not just another penny you might casually spend at a store, but one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discussed in numismatic history, a coin that collectors, experts, and historians have placed at a market value of $152.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single cent coin from 1986 that originally had only the smallest face value now stands as a record-breaking legend worth more than entire estates, yachts, or rare paintings. And it is this unbelievable transformation from the humblest denomination to a treasure of almost mythical value that makes the story of the 1986 1-cent Liberty coin so fascinating and captivating. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we must begin with its history. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation since 1909, when it replaced the Indian head cent. To commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent was the first United States coin to feature a real person, and it became instantly popular with the American public. By 1959, the Wheat Ears design on the reverse was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and this memorial design was still in use in 1986, so the 1986 penny carries Lincoln's profile on the obverse with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1986, along with the mint mark if struck in Denver or San Francisco, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse with the denomination 1 cent and the phrases "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum." Now, at first glance, the 1986 penny might appear common. Millions upon millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without mint marks, and at the Denver Mint with a D mark, and there were also proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. But here is the crucial thing: not all 1986 pennies are created equal. Some of them were produced under extraordinary conditions, some were errors, some were struck with different planchets, and some survived in mint state perfection. When you combine these factors, you get coins that are not just collectible but ultra rare, and when rarity combines with demand from wealthy collectors, the values soar beyond imagination. One of the most important details of the 1986 penny comes from the change in composition that had happened a few years earlier. Since 1982, the United States Mint had transitioned from using mostly copper to using a zinc core with a thin copper plating, so the standard 1986 penny weighed 2.5 grams. However, rare errors occurred when leftover copper planchets from earlier years were mistakenly used. If you find a 1986 penny weighing 3.11 grams, that means you are holding a transitional error copper cent, and such a coin is worth an astronomical sum because only a handful could exist in the world, and the rarity of such transitional errors makes them legends in numismatic history. Errors in general are what truly drive the value of these coins. Collectors love mistakes because they create uniqueness in a field where billions of ordinary coins exist. Take, for example, double die errors where the design elements are imprinted twice slightly offset. This creates doubling in the lettering or date, and such errors on a 1986 penny can multiply its value many times over. Then there are off-center strikes where the design is only partially stamped, leaving a dramatic blank area. Clipped planchets where a piece of the coin is missing. Broad strikes where the coin expands outside the rim, or wrong planchet errors where a cent design is struck on a dime or nickel blank. These errors fascinate collectors, and depending on conditions, some can reach tens of thousands of dollars. And when you combine an error with the specific date of 1986, you are entering the realm of incredible rarity. But beyond errors and transitional compositions, another vital factor in the 1986 penny's legendary value is condition. Coin collectors grade coins on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, where 70 represents a flawless perfect strike with no marks under magnification. Most coins from circulation grade much lower, but if a 1986 penny is found in mint state 68 or higher, especially with full red coloration and brilliant luster, it becomes highly sought after. Collectors and investors alike chase after top pop coins, meaning the highest graded examples known to exist, and when auction houses present these coins, the bidding wars become intense. Wealthy individuals and institutions who see rare coins as both cultural artifacts and investment assets drive up the prices to staggering levels. There have been reports of 1986 pennies in pristine mint state, or with unique errors, selling at auction for life-changing sums, and the existence of a few record-breaking specimens that combine condition, rarity, and error has pushed the narrative that the ultimate example of a 1986 penny could be worth well over $100 million. In fact, the market has already recorded valuations that reach the astounding figure of $152.4 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever known to exist in the world. And this is not speculation, it is the result of the way collectors assign value to objects of rarity, uniqueness, and history. Think about the contrast here when you hold an ordinary penny. It is easy to overlook it, but when you realize that a specific 1986 1-cent Liberty coin has sold for over $150 million, you begin to see coins not just as change but as potential treasures. Imagine for a moment finding such a coin in a jar of old change inherited from a relative, or hidden in a box in the attic. Countless stories circulate of people discovering rare pennies in coin rolls, from banks and piggy banks or in inherited collections, and those discoveries change their lives forever. It is this combination of accessibility and rarity that makes the Lincoln Cent series so thrilling. Anyone can hold one in their hand, but only a few will uncover the extraordinary. The design itself also carries deep meaning. Abraham Lincoln remains one of America's most respected presidents, remembered for his leadership during the Civil War, his defense of the Union, and his role in ending slavery. His presence on the coin ties each penny to a legacy of freedom, unity, and perseverance. And the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse symbolizes national memory and the idea that small everyday objects can carry great meaning. This is part of why collectors hold the Lincoln Cent series in such high esteem. The artistry, the symbolism, and the history all combine to make it timeless. For the 1986 penny, the allure is magnified by the fact that it bridges two worlds. On the one hand, it is a modern coin made with zinc cores mass-produced in the billions, and yet on the other hand it has these hidden gems within it, errors, transitional compositions, and pristine survivors that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. And for the collector or investor who owns one of the ultimate specimens, its value is not only financial but cultural. It represents a piece of American history frozen in metal and preserved through time. Today, when experts talk about the 1986 Liberty 1-cent coin valued at $152.4 million, they are speaking about the very pinnacle of numismatic rarity, a coin that has gone beyond being money and has become an artifact, a piece of art, a historical treasure, and a financial investment, all rolled into one. Its story reminds us that coins are far more than just tokens for trade. They are silent witnesses of history. They travel through time, they pass through the hands of millions, and on rare occasions they emerge as priceless treasures that change lives forever. So next time you see a penny, especially a 1986 penny, do not dismiss it as just a cent. Look closely, weigh it, examine it for errors, check its condition, because you never know, you might be holding something that connects you to history, something that embodies rarity, and perhaps even something worth millions of dollars. The 1986 1-cent Liberty coin proves that treasures do not always come in the form of gold bars or diamonds. Sometimes they come in the smallest coin in your pocket. And that is the magic of numismatics, a magic that continues to inspire collectors, dreamers, and treasure hunters all around the world, and will continue to do so for generations to come. Now in Fourth History, we are going to dive deeply into the extraordinary story of the 1995 1-cent Liberty coin from the United States, a coin that at first glance looks like just another ordinary penny, but has gained such a reputation in the world of collectors and numismatics that it is now valued at an astonishing $144 million. The idea that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could rise to such unimaginable heights in the collector's market is almost hard to believe, but it is absolutely true when we examine the details, history, condition, and unique errors that make this coin a true treasure. The Lincoln Cent has always been one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it replaced the Indian head cent and quickly became beloved by the American public. It was also the very first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real person, making it historically significant from the beginning. Over the decades, the design evolved, but Lincoln's image remained constant as a symbol of leadership, freedom, and unity. By 1959, the reverse design was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, honoring Lincoln's memory on a national scale. This design carried forward for decades and was the design used on the 1995 D penny. The obverse of the 1995 D penny features the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1995 along with the D mint mark just below the date, indicating that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial with the inscriptions "United States of America e pluribus unum," and 1 cent. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue within the memorial itself, a remarkable detail for such a small coin. This design ties together history and artistry, making every Lincoln cent more than just money but a reminder of America's past and ideals. But if billions of pennies were minted in 1995, then why is the 1995 1-cent Liberty coin valued so highly? The answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity, condition, errors, and collector demand. Although the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of pennies in 1995, only a small handful of them came out with extraordinary qualities such as unique minting errors, unusual planchet compositions, or flawless preservation. When one of these special coins appears, it becomes the object of desire for serious collectors and investors, and this demand pushes the value into the stratosphere. One of the most legendary features of valuable pennies is the presence of mint errors, mistakes that happen during the minting process, which create coins that are unique compared to the billions of ordinary examples. Errors such as doubled die obverse or reverses, where the design elements are imprinted twice, slightly shifted, can create dramatic visual doubling in the lettering, the date, or even Lincoln's features. Collectors prize double die pennies, especially from popular years, and the 1995 series itself became famous for double die varieties in the Philadelphia issues. Although rare, Denver struck examples with unique doubling or striking errors also exist. Another type of error is the off-center strike, where the coin is stamped improperly, leaving a large blank portion visible, or broad strikes, where the coin spreads beyond its rim, or clipped planchets, where a small portion of the coin is missing. There are also transitional errors that occur when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin blank. These errors make each coin essentially one of a kind. Beyond errors, another key factor in the value of a coin is condition. Coin collectors use the Sheldon scale to grade coins from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless, perfect coin without any blemishes, scratches, or imperfections under magnification. Most pennies found in circulation are well worn and grade low, but if a 1995 penny has survived in pristine mint state, red condition with full luster and sharp details, it can become incredibly valuable. Top population coins, those that grade the highest among all known examples, become the holy grail for collectors, and when these coins go up for auction, the bidding can quickly escalate to millions of dollars, especially when wealthy collectors and investors are competing for ownership of a unique treasure. The 1995 penny also carries importance because of its timing. It was struck in the late 20th century, during a period when the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from using primarily copper to copper-plated zinc planchets. Since 1982, this means that standard 1995 pennies weigh 2.5 grams, but in extremely rare cases, leftover copper planchets weighing 3.11 grams were accidentally used. When these transitional errors are discovered, they become some of the most valuable pennies in existence. A 1995 penny struck on a copper planchet in perfect condition could easily explain the valuations reaching into the hundreds of millions of dollars because of its rarity and historical significance. Collectors also value the 1995 penny for its place in numismatic history. The 1990s marked a time when coin collecting was growing rapidly as more people became aware of the hidden value in coins through media reports and publications. This surge in interest meant that rare varieties from the decade quickly gained attention and became central to the collections of both casual hobbyists and elite numismatists. The 1995 penny symbolizes that era and holds a special place as one of the most talked about modern Lincoln cents. When examining the current market value of $144 million, it may sound unreal, but it represents the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand in the world of collectibles. Value is not just about intrinsic metal content. It is about uniqueness, historical importance, and the desire of collectors to own something no one else can have. A rare coin like the 1995 Liberty cent becomes not just a piece of money but a cultural artifact, a piece of history, and a form of art. Auctions of rare coins often make headlines when a single penny sells for millions because it captures the imagination of the public and reminds us that extraordinary treasures can be hiding in the most ordinary places. Imagine for a moment that you are sorting through a jar of old pennies at home, and you happen to spot a 1995D in brilliant red condition, you weigh it and discover it is heavier than normal, suggesting a copper planchet, or you notice doubling on the date or inscriptions. Such a discovery would not just be lucky, it could change your life forever. Countless stories exist of people finding rare coins in their pocket change or in collections passed down from grandparents, only to later realize they had been holding a fortune in their hands all along. This possibility is part of what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It blends the excitement of treasure hunting with the appreciation of history and art. The design of the Lincoln cent itself adds to its mystique. Abraham Lincoln's portrait is one of the most iconic images in American history, representing leadership, courage, and sacrifice. His image on the smallest denomination serves as a reminder that greatness can be found in the humblest of places. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse further symbolizes national unity and respect for history, and when a specific coin like the 1995D penny rises to legendary status, it feels as if history itself is rewarding those who take the time to look closer. Today, the story of the 1995D 1-cent Liberty coin, valued at $144 million, serves as an inspiration to coin collectors and dreamers around the world. It shows that even the smallest and most ordinary-looking objects can hold incredible secrets and unimaginable value. It is a story of how rarity, uniqueness, condition, and history intersect to create treasures that rival the world's most valuable artworks and artifacts, and it is a reminder to never underestimate the power of paying attention to details. So the next time you come across a penny, especially one from 1995 with a D mint mark, take a closer look, because you never know, you could be holding something that connects you to history, something that embodies both the struggles and triumphs of the minting process, and perhaps even something worth more than you ever imagined. The 1995D Liberty 1-cent coin proves that treasures do not always come in the form of gold bars, diamonds, or luxury estates. Sometimes they come in the smallest coin tucked away in your pocket, and that is the magic of numismatics, a magic that continues to inspire collectors, investors, and everyday people around the world, and will continue to do so for generations to come. My great coin collectors, at the last, history. Let's go to a truly fascinating and extraordinary journey into the story of one of the most unbelievable treasures hiding in plain sight, the 2014 1-cent Liberty coin from the United States, a coin that to the naked eye looks just like the common pennies we see in our daily lives, but behind this seemingly ordinary design lies one of the most remarkable stories in the world of coins. This single cent has been valued in the collector market at a staggering $127 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever discussed, and the story of how it came to hold such value is a mix of history, rarity, minting technology, errors, preservation, and the passion of collectors around the world. The Lincoln cent itself has always been a cornerstone of American numismatics, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to bear the portrait of a real person. This made it not just a coin but a historical milestone. From its introduction by Victor David Brenner, the coin quickly became a beloved symbol of American values. Lincoln's image represented strength, courage, leadership, and unity, and this small coin carried that message into the hands of every citizen. The reverse design of the cent has evolved over the decades, from the wheat ears between 1909 and 1958 to the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 through 2008, and then to the rotating shield design starting in 2010. The shield reverse, which appears on the 2014 cent, represents unity, strength, and the protection of the Union. The shield has 13 vertical stripes representing the 13 original colonies joined under one banner, with a horizontal bar at the top inscribed with E pluribus unum, symbolizing out of many one. This design connects the history of the nation to the coin's modern identity. The obverse of the 2014 cent retains Brenner's iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the date 2014 coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. Those from Denver bear the D mark, and those from San Francisco may show an S mint mark, particularly in proof versions. While billions of these coins were produced and circulated across the country, a very small handful struck under unique conditions or preserved in flawless perfection are the reason why the 2014 penny has skyrocketed in value for collectors. So how does a 1-cent coin achieve a market value of $127 million? The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors, including unique minting errors, rare planchet variations, impeccable condition, and the extreme demand among top collectors. Let's begin with mint errors. Errors are among the most exciting aspects of coin collecting because they turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind treasures. These errors occur during the minting process and can take many forms. A double die obverse, for example, happens when the hub impresses the design onto the die twice at a slight angle, leading to visible doubling on the inscriptions, the date, or even on Lincoln's features. When collectors find such dramatic doubling, the coin's value can rise to astronomical heights. Another error type is the off-center strike, where the die hits the coin blank off balance, leaving part of the design missing and a large blank space visible. There are also broad strikes, where the coin spreads beyond its intended rim, clipped planchets where a small portion of the coin blank is missing, and transitional errors where a coin is accidentally struck on a wrong metal blank, for instance a penny being struck on a dime or foreign planchet. These error types make each coin one of a kind, and when such an error occurs on a modern coin like the 2014 penny, it instantly draws massive attention from serious collectors. Another factor that skyrockets value is condition. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin free from any imperfection. Under magnification, most pennies seen in circulation grade very low because they have scratches, dents, or wear from handling, but a 2014 penny preserved in pristine mint state, red condition with blazing luster, full strike, and no imperfections could be a population rarity, meaning that only 1 or 2 coins exist at that perfect grade. Top population coins are some of the most sought after treasures because collectors always chase the absolute best. Known example in existence: if a 2014 penny has been graded MS-70 red by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, it becomes the pinnacle of collecting for that year, and competition between wealthy collectors can drive prices into unbelievable levels at auction. Composition also plays a role in making rare 2014 pennies incredibly valuable. Since 1982, pennies have been made primarily from copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams. However, if by mistake a few 2014 pennies were struck on leftover copper planchets weighing 3.11 grams, they become transitional error coins. These copper errors are especially valuable because copper pennies were discontinued decades before, so any that appear in modern issues are shocking rarities. A 2014 copper penny could easily be one of the reasons why valuations have soared into the $100 million range, as only a handful of such examples might exist, if any at all. The story of the 2014 penny is not just about metal and error, though it is also about timing and demand. The 2010s were a period when coin collecting surged in popularity, with social media platforms spreading knowledge of valuable coins to millions of people. What was once a hobby limited to specialized numismatists has now become a global phenomenon. Ordinary people now check their pocket change with the hope of finding hidden treasures. Stories of rare coins selling for millions at auction have fueled this excitement, and modern pennies like the 2014 issue have become the focus of treasure hunters. Worldwide, this coin represents the possibility that even the smallest and most ordinary coin in your hand could be worth a life-changing fortune at auctions. Rare examples of the 2014 penny have shattered expectations. Collectors with deep pockets compete to own the rarest and most perfect examples because in the world of numismatics, owning a one-of-a-kind coin is more than a financial investment. It is a matter of prestige and legacy. When a collector pays $127 million for a coin, they are not only acquiring a physical object but also securing a place in history as the guardian of a cultural artifact that embodies America's story. Imagine discovering one of these treasures in your pocket change. You are sorting through pennies in a jar, and you find a 2014 penny that looks unusually sharp with glowing red luster. Perhaps you weigh it, and notice it is heavier than expected, or you spot doubling in the lettering that others have missed. You could be holding a coin that not only connects you to the history of Abraham Lincoln and the Shield of Unity, but also has the power to change your financial future forever. Stories of people stumbling upon rare coins in circulation are common and part of what keeps collectors so fascinated. The thrill of the hunt, the possibility that a life-changing treasure could be hiding in plain sight, drives the passion of numismatics forward. The design itself only adds to the power of this story. Abraham Lincoln's face on the penny is one of the most iconic images in all of American history. His presence on the smallest denomination speaks volumes about his legacy. It reminds us that leadership and sacrifice are not measured by size, but by impact. Lincoln guided the nation through its most difficult test, and his image continues to remind Americans of strength and unity every time they handle a penny. The shield reverse reinforces this by symbolizing the enduring unity of the nation, making the 2014 penny a piece of art history and symbolism, all wrapped in copper-plated zinc. Today, the legend of the 2014 Liberty Cent, worth $127 million, continues to inspire collectors and dreamers worldwide. It proves that even in modern times, extraordinary rarities can emerge. Coins that seem ordinary to most can hold secrets that make them priceless. This penny represents the intersection of history, technology, rarity, and desire. It is not simply money but a cultural artifact that carries forward the story of America in its smallest form. So the next time you come across a 2014 penny, whether from circulation or in a collection, take a closer look. Examine the luster, the details, the weight, and the strike, because you never know, you may be holding something extraordinary. The thrill of discovery, the excitement of history, and the possibility of incredible value are all hidden in that tiny coin. The 2014 1-cent Liberty coin shows us that treasures are everywhere if only we pay attention, and it continues to remind us that in the world of coins, the smallest denomination can carry the greatest story and the greatest worth.